I wasn't supposed to be there that night. If I had just gone home, if I hadn't forgotten that stupid charger, I never would have heard what Francis said about me. And if I had never heard it, I never would have done what I did to him. My name is Ava. I weigh 800 pounds, and I had just fallen completely in love with the wrong man. But that's not where this story ends. Not even close. I am not someone who breaks easily. I was bullied most of my life. The kind of bullying that doesn't stop at school. It follows you into adulthood. It sits in your chest during doctor's appointments. It whispers things when you're getting dressed in the morning. I was loved, but always with conditions attached that no one would say out loud. And through all of it, I survived. I built a life I actually liked. An apartment above a bakery. A book club on Thursdays. A laugh that people have always told me takes over a room. I was not someone who needed saving. I just wanted to be healthy. That was the only reason I walked into that gym. That was my first mistake. The moment I walked through those glass doors, he looked up and smiled at me like I was the best thing he'd seen all day. His name was Francis Allred, 32, British, built like someone had designed him, specifically to be looked at. He was the head trainer at Elevate Fitness, and everyone there moved around him like he was the sun. I thought I was immune to it. I really did. He walked over to me, extended his hand, and said, "You must be Ava. I've been waiting for you." I told him he didn't know me. He smiled and said, "I know that everyone who walks through that door is ready to change their life. That makes them worth waiting for." I told myself it was a line. I told myself I could see exactly what it was. What I didn't know then was that I wasn't the only woman he'd said it to. Within 3 months, Francis and I were in a relationship. And I won't lie to you, it felt like something out of a film. He texted me between sessions. Not gym stuff. Real messages. "What did you have for lunch?" And I saw a book and thought of you. One afternoon, he sent me a photo of a cloud formation and said, "It looked like your laugh sounds." I know. But when you've spent your whole life being someone's afterthought, being someone's first thought feels like oxygen. And then there was his philosophy about my weight loss. He had a whole theory. Restriction is the enemy of progress. Your body needs to trust you first. Eat freely. Be comfortable. I have a strategy for your body type specifically. Trust me. He had certifications on his wall. He had charts. He had an answer for everything. So when I went up 15 pounds in the first 2 months, I believed him when he called it metabolic calibration. When I gained another 20, I believed him when he said my body was releasing stress. I believed everything. Looking back, that's the part that still gets me. I started noticing small things. The way he avoided certain times, the way he never posted photos of us, the way his phone was always face down on the table. I told myself I was being paranoid. I told myself that I had trust issues. And didn't I? Hadn't I always? That's the thing about being manipulated by someone smart. They use your own self-doubt against you. So I kept quiet. I kept believing. I kept gaining weight and calling it progress until the night I forgot my charger. It was a Friday evening in October. I had a key to the side entrance. Francis gave it to me weeks in. "So you always have a way in," he'd said. At the time, that felt like love. I let myself in through the side door, 5 minutes, just grabbing my charger. I heard voices coming from the gym floor. His friends, his inner circle. I wasn't worried. I started walking toward the desk. And then I heard my name. I stopped. And then I heard Francis laugh. Not the way he laughed with me. This was different. This was easy, unguarded. This was how someone laughs when they're certain nobody important is listening. And then he said something I don't think I'll ever forget. "Women her size are the easiest." I didn't move. You give them a little attention, you're beautiful, energy, and they're yours. They're so grateful. They don't push back. They don't question anything. They just, hold on. Someone laughed and asked how many women he was managing right now. He listed them. Me. A woman named Priscilla. Another named Nia, who thought they were exclusive. Different sizes, different worlds. They don't cross paths. The big ones and the slim ones don't move in the same spaces. It's psychology, man. It's not even hard. I stood in that corridor for a long time. I didn't cry. I didn't make a sound. I just listened. And I understood, really understood, the kind of man I had trusted with everything. And something inside me went very, very quiet. I sat in my car afterward, I don't know how long. It felt like 5 minutes. It wasn't. I didn't call my best friend Dara. I didn't go back inside and scream. I didn't confront him. Because here's what I know about men like Francis. They have an answer for everything. If I'd confronted him that night, he would have managed me. He would have charmed me, apologized his way back in, and I would have lost. So I didn't give him the chance. I sat in that car, and I made a decision. I wanted him to feel what it's like when your body stops being yours. I wanted him to gain weight just like me. I researched for 2 weeks before I touched anything. Weight gain supplements, high-calorie additives used by bodybuilders for bulking, tasteless, colorless, dissolved completely in liquid, completely legal. I cross-referenced them with everything Francis consumed daily, his morning protein shake, his post-workout smoothies, the soups he made every Sunday with the pride of a man who believed. His discipline was unbeatable. His discipline was about to meet something it had never encountered. On a Thursday morning, 1 week after the corridor, I added the first dose. I went to work. I came home. I kissed him. And I waited. Week 1, nothing visible. I watched. I smiled. I played the part he had written for me so well that Francis never once looked up from his own reflection long enough to notice anything had changed. Week 3, he mentioned his pants felt tight after a session. He laughed it off, doubled his training, ice baths, everything. It wasn't enough. He just didn't know that yet. Week 5, I caught him at the bathroom mirror, and I recognized the look on his face immediately. Not because I'd seen it on him before, because I'd worn it myself my entire life. That specific look of a body changing in ways you cannot stop. He said, "I've been eating clean. I'm training twice a day. This doesn't make sense." And I looked up from my book and said, "Maybe it's stress. You always told me restriction is the enemy. Maybe your body just needs to trust you. Remember?" I used his exact words. His script, back to him. Word. For. Word. I watched him nod slowly. The most satisfying moment of the entire 5 months. By month 2, he was up 40 pounds. 40 pounds on a man whose entire world was built on the way his body looked. And here's the thing people don't tell you about men like Francis. It's never just about the body. The body is the source of everything else. The authority, the credibility, the reason clients trusted him, the reason women chose him, the reason every man in his circle treated him as the standard. Take the body away. And what's left? The admiration disappeared first. Then the clients started quietly requesting different trainers. Nia, the woman who thought they were exclusive, canceled her membership entirely. He went to 3 different doctors in 1 month, ran every test imaginable, got back the same answer from all 3. Nothing conclusive. He started waking at 5 to train before anyone arrived. He cut entire food groups. He pushed until his hands felt heavy. The scale kept going up. And one day, one of his friends clapped him on the shoulder and said, "You look tired, man. You look fat. Is this another strategy to get more women?" That was the most devastating thing anyone had ever said to Francis Allred in his life. The worst part wasn't the weight gain. It was the silence where the admiration used to be. I knew it was over on a Sunday morning. Francis was reorganizing the kitchen cabinet when he found the bag. To be continued.